let's tell the truth that the game against that we won in Cremona, after that game, I never coached the team again. Um, whether it be practice or game, I was never there. I was there, but I was not part of the project any longer.
Hello, everybody. This is a new episode of Backdoor Podcast 1-to-1, and I'm so happy to have as our guest Dante Calabria, a well-known ex-player from Italy, Milano, Treviso, Cantù, but a former head coach of Pistoia. We're talking about the whole career at the very first time. Thank you for being here, Dante, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and happy to talk with you.
Okay, let's start from the beginning and what are your memories about your time in Cantu, a very passionate place, living for basketball, and what about your feeling about that time?
Now, that was a great season. We started out that season winning the Super Cup, which was highly unexpected. And I think that put a lot of higher expectations on the team, but really good group of guys. Pino, as the coach, did a great job. We had some ups and downs, but overall was a fantastic year. I think we ran out of gas at the end. I know I got injured. A couple of the other guys were not feeling great. And when you run into a team at that point, Treviso, and have to play them in 5 games, it's tough to win. But I mean, great memories from Cantu. The fans, the passion, you hit it right on the nose. The passion there is incredible. Without having any other sports there, considering the soccer or football, basketball is the top sport. And I mean, the people just show up every game, home, away, win or lose, and they support the team. And that was a pretty awesome year, a pretty neat year for me to experience that situation.
Now we started talking about Milan, and the news about passing away of Giorgio Armani is a huge one, affect nearly everybody in Italy, in the basketball world. Do you have one memories of him because you were at the very beginning of Giorgio Armani era, and if you have any type of remember or particular situation with him, and if you want to share it, is a good moment to do it.
Well, I just it was an honor to be part of that organization. It was the first one, first team in that group we put together. We ended up making it to the finals. So it was a special year. But as far as Mr. Armani, he used to come around a lot. And that year being the first year was kind of like experimenting with a lot of different things. So we did some different things as an organization with the Armani organization, also with the Inter and Milan organizations. So that year for us, I think as a group was really unique. And but Mr. Armani was always there to support us, always there to try to come to the games and cheer on. We all got to know him pretty well. And when I saw the news, it was tough because I remember the days, and although it's separate from all the fashion and things that he's well known for, I think his passion for basketball was there, and he shared it with us and allowed us, and especially in Milan, to continue that organization, and they've done great things since then.
Talking about that incredible season for certain aspects, you played an outstanding game 5 in Treviso. You win against a powerhouse with a ton of great players, as an underdog, away from Milano. What happened in that game, and what was the key for your success?
Well, that game was a battle, man. I don't know if I remember the score or not. I think it was like 57, 52. I think it was in the 50s. Um, but man, what a game. And two really, really good teams. They definitely were very, very strong team. But we were built in Milan that year with a group of guys that didn't quit. Things didn't go well in that game for us. We weren't making shots. We weren't doing this, but we never quit on the defensive end. We never quit trying to attack and trying to pressure. And at the end of the game, we were able to make some big shots and make some free throws. Very tough place to win. Tough climate. It was really, really hot. I remember not only with the fans and everything like that, but it was hot just in general, temperature wise. Um, but I'll tell you that may have been the biggest memory, biggest win for my years in Milan, because that was really a tough win against a really, really good team, well coached team, and we were able to sneak out there with a win.
And we have to mention Sasha Djordjevic because probably he's the turning point of that team. What was his impact on the team in that game in particular, but in that team and in that season in general?
Yeah, to be honest, in the game, I don't remember exactly. I know Sasha was a big part of the team, and even though he was at the end uh, and older, his impact was great. He was working with everybody, all of us, all the experiences that he had, all came to play, and it helped all of us. I remember a couple of times he'd come in the game, 3 4 minutes, hit a couple big shots, and go back down and sit down. And one thing I learned from Sasha that year was how to kind of adjust from playing so many minutes, and then watching him and how he did. Anytime the number was called, he was ready to come out and play. True professional, always willing to talk with you, always willing to help, on and off the court. Someone that I really respected, really liked a lot.
Good memories brings us to a bad memory about the Reuben Douglas shot. Is probably the most particular situation probably we've ever had in Italian basketball. What comes to your mind in that moment between that shot and the decision? Do you feel anything? Do you already seen it was good or not? What happens in the mind of the players in that type of situation? Because it's so strange that probably never happened.
Well, it's a tough situation. I didn't know if it was good or not. And that would happen to be the first year they did the replay.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know that the referees called it no good and then went to the replay, and obviously it was good. But as a team, as a player, I mean, there's not much more you can do. We make him take a bad shot. I know I had a wide open shot coming off a screen as the shot clock was going down, and the shot felt great. Sometimes I watch the video and I still think it's going to go in. But but the ball just happened to bounce right in the right place, and he was able to gather himself and get that shot off, and he probably would make that shot 3 times out of 100, and one of those times was in that situation. And kudos to those guys that they kept playing and got that attempt to make that shot and or to attempt the shot, and he made it. But it's tough. It was tough to deal with because it's a hard way to lose, but that being said, again, that's that same year that we beat Treviso. I mean, we put in a lot of blood, a lot of effort. That group of guys was a special group that I remember and have fond memories of that team and those guys.
Do you have the feeling if that shot wasn't good and you will go to game 5 to make a repeat of Treviso's game, do you feel the momentum? Do you think you could have won all the pressure will be on the Fortitudo, was searching for a victory since a long time. Do you think you have a chance for making the repeat and win the championship away from Milan another time?
No, absolutely. As I said earlier, that team, um, that Milano team was tough mentally, and I know the first game one and game three, we got down by 20 points or so each game, and each game came back. Um, we showed we could do it in Treviso. I definitely think it would have been a battle. Would we have won or not? I like to think so, yes. But obviously, no one will ever know. But I do think that would have been a game five that would have been for the books for the ages. I think people still would have been talking about it, whether Bologna or Milano won. But I think it would have been a battle, as we had almost every game in that series.
One last question about your player career. When you look back and think about your experience as a naturalized player with the Italian national team, what what are your feelings? What are your memories about that time? And have you ever compared if it happens right now, if you play 20 years later than you've played, could be something different, or you don't think about it?
I haven't thought about that about 20 years later. If I try to think about playing now at that level, I'd probably fall down. The age catches up to you. But one of the biggest experiences of my life, one of the best memories of basketball was to wear the Italia jersey. Um, it was just a big thrill. If I could go back to 2001, when Coach Tanjevic was there, and I was on the edge of possibly going, possibly not, and I had already committed to do something in the summer league, I probably would change that decision. That's how big of an impact it was to play for that team, to be called and wear that jersey. But at the time, I didn't know. But one of the best experiences that I've ever had, and I know we didn't do great in the tournament, but I appreciate each and every one of the guys that I played with, the administration, the staff, because man, those memories for me are incredible. When I talk about basketball now, and one of the first things I talk about is the national team. And anytime they come on TV, anytime they're playing an event, I either try to stream it or watch it and support them because yeah, again, that was the biggest thrill of my life, playing basketball.
Very, very good. I think a lot of Italian fans are happy to hear that words from you, and is so great. And now we are talking about so many naturalization and stuff like that. Before Banchero, right now Di Vincenzo. There are some problems about naturalization right now, but hearing these words are very, very important. I think for a lot of Italian fans. Now we can start your coaching career, and obviously the focal point of this interview is regarding your situation, your experience in Pistoia. Let's start from the beginning. How did your signing in Pistoia come about?
Um, I was in North Carolina, and I work with Massimo Rizzo all the time. He's a really good friend of mine, and he calls me and says, "Hey, would you be interested in going to coach?" And of course, coaching in Italy was always one of my biggest things that I wanted to do, dreamed about. I love living there. I love being there. And so when that opportunity came about, I was like, yeah, I would definitely be interested. And so he took care of a lot of the stuff. I flew down to Miami, met with the owner and Massimo, and we struck a deal. And that's how that all came about. It was pretty quick. And next thing you know, I was getting ready to catch a plane.
And it was a long-term project in at the very beginning was a long-term project, or was something more short and let's see how it goes.
Well, I signed for 3 years, so I had the idea of being there 3 years and trying to build something there. And I remember Pistoia was in A2, A1, back and forth a lot of times. but I remember the fans and how passionate they were. It kind of reminds me of Cantu. I know they don't really like each other, Cantu and Pistoia, but they're very, very passionate about basketball. And so I was excited about it. I thought it was a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to take a bunch of younger kids, younger Italian kids, try to develop them and build them and build something in Pistoia that could be sustain it as far as their ability to stay in A1 and compete and just continue to build and build. The project that I was being sold was there would be other investors, there would be other things that would happen. The money would come, and we would able to build it slowly but surely.
Mo-
Uh, that's
that
my dog.
and we don't want to remember that time probably. Let's move on to the probably the I don't know if it's the beginning, but for a public standpoint, probably the beginning of the difficult situation when Ron Rowan forced you to play his son in Cremona. Everyone sees the situation. How did that unfold?
That had been going on for a while. I mean, from training camp, um, it became evident that although I was the coach, that Ron wanted to be the coach, um, and unfortunately, he couldn't. Uh, as a coach myself, I'm very open, and I think anybody that coached with me, not only in Pistoia but anywhere, I'm very open to suggestion. I'm very open to information, input. Um, but when you're told to do certain things, that gets old, and it gets old quick, especially when it might not be the same thought process and idea that myself or our staff had. And so that was building up, building up. But I will say this, in the preseason, we struggled a little bit because we were trying to tinker with different styles of playing, different ways to go about it. But when the season started, I thought we were pretty prepared. Um, does that mean that we were going to win a championship? No. The league is too strong. There's too many teams that have a lot more resources at that point. But when you look at the games that we did play, I was there for basically 3 games. Um, we beat Napoli, team that we were going to compete with to stay up. We lost to Virtus Bologna, who wins the championship. And we actually competed in that game, and they beat us, I don't know, 15 points or so. But the guys didn't quit, and they competed, and you could just sense getting better and better as a group. And then we go to Cremona, and we win at the buzzer. Um, Crazy stuff goes on. And after the game, it's like we're on the bus. Nobody's cheering. Nobody's excited. I mean, it was just a created a toxic environment, and it just wore on you day after day after day. I know we'd be in the meetings with the coaches, and I mean, some days it was like, man, do you really want to be here? Do you really want to? And of course, you want to be there because it's a great opportunity. You have a whole city there with a team that has a long history, and then you kind of go to the other side. And you said, I got to deal with this guy, and it was tough. It was really tough.
Absolutely, and when the situation erupts publicly, there was some videos comes around with the Rowan conducting the running the practice, and while you were sitting away from the everything about the court, away, very away from the whole situation about the team, and you already told it was a situation was started way before, but how could you manage that situation as a coach, being there and watching your president owner let's say in the way we want, running the practice instead of you?
Well, let's tell the truth that the game against that we won in Cremona, after that game, I never coached the team again. Whether it be practice or game, I was never there. I was there, but I was not part of the project any longer. And at that point, there were many times that, in fact, almost all the time, that it was his practice, his doing. And I just sat there. I'm sure he wanted me just to walk away and go away, but at that point, I said, "No, nah, that's not going to happen. Um, this is going to play itself out, and everyone's going to figure out what's going on." Um, it was tough. It was frustrating. Mentally, it was tough having to go there and sit there, and I felt really horrible for the other coaches, and especially for the players, because now you're not affecting just my situation. You're affecting everyone involved. Affecting the administration. Affecting the other coaches, the fans, the sponsors, everybody, because of a mentality that just doesn't work in that setting. And it was really, really hard. Like I said, I never coached the team again after Cremona. We were in the meeting before the practice on Tuesday morning, and about 10 minutes before the practice comes out, we had gotten everything started, everything together, and he comes in and was like, this is it. From now on, I'm going to do the offense. Tommy, you're going to take the defense, and if you see anything, you make suggestion to me and here I am supposed to be the head coach. So the writing was on the wall after Cremona anyway. It was probably on the wall before that, but like anybody else in my situation or as a professional, you try to make things work. You try to deal with them and make the best of what you can. Um, but I mean, that was pretty much the end of it at that point.
We try to understand what happens. You face a disciplinary action at some point of this crazy stuff. What was the reason behind it? Is something to force you to go away? What was about that disciplinary action to a coach who never coached the team anymore?
Yeah, it was definitely trying to get me to leave. Um, there was the 3-year contract. Uh, they really had nothing on me. They could sit and say that I didn't do this or I didn't do that, but the reality is, and I still have it. I have the documentation. I have the paperwork. I have the recordings of what was said to me. um, and there was nothing there, and so that was basically trying to get me to say, "Hey, I'm not dealing with this." But like I said, at a certain point, I was just like, now it's gonna come out. Eventually, it's gonna come out. And it's like I had spoken to you before, and I said, "Hey, I'd love to talk to you now, but I can't. Um, I need to wait until all this is done because this is the result is going to be more important." Um, so all of that stuff, all of that publication, all of those things that came out about me not doing this or not doing that, total fabrication. And obviously, at the end of the day, it's evident that that's what it was.
From a basketball standpoint, the group of players are involved too, as you already said. How can they manage that situation? I suppose you can't have the trust to a person who come in, delegitimate the coach, and start coaching by himself, working only for himself. What do you see from the group of guys you've coached at the very beginning? How they manage it, the situation?
Well, in the beginning, everything seemed to be going pretty good, and then there were a couple little incidents in the preseason, and you could start to see the guys understanding that there was favoritism towards the son. There was things that were going on. Our discipline was, if I tried to make a discipline or one of the assistant coaches, nothing was substantiated by the president. It was a really, really difficult situation. And as you could see, the influx of guys that wanted to leave and then left. And there were reasons for that. And one of the reasons that the environment was very, very toxic. And I will sit here and tell you that every one of those players that went through that, especially the Italian guys, um, they deserve a medal, an award, or something because I personally, as a player, I don't think that I would have been able to do what they did and handle the things that they handled in that manner. They all deserve to be recognized because they did something that they should never ever have to go through. No player, no coaches, nothing should ever have to go through that situation that went on.
Was crazy and was hard to understand what happens. Could have happened, I don't know, but is totally crazy. And talking about it with sometimes past and afterwards, I have to ask you, because you had three years of contract, how does the whole situation finish? Was the point? What happens? They give you what you want, probably what the contract says. What happens at the very end of the story?
Well, fortunately, Joe David took over, and Joe is a great guy. I've known him for a while. We actually coached in Pennsylvania against each other. Um, really understands, business guy. When he took the reins of the situation, he just asked me to be patient, and so we worked together along with Massimo, and everything has been completed. Did I get my 3 years? No, but in a sense, I didn't want to put them in a position where they would have to fold, or they would have this happen, or their finances would be done. Um, I wanted to make it right, and we were able to do that thanks to Joe, thanks to Massimo, and they're still able to continue, even if it is an A2, they're able to continue with their franchise for their fans, for that city, because that's how important Pistoia is to the basketball to the city, and that was a big part of everything, and how we worked everything out. Um, that was important to me because I know that the fans didn't do anything to deserve that. The administration, the sponsors didn't do anything to deserve that. Everyone basically was quote unquote conned into to believe in something that really wasn't true.
Do you think this situation affects in some ways your coaching career afterwards, or is something begins, something ends, and is behind you? Or do you think there is something could affect your career? Or you were the coach in that situation in Pistoia, but what? Do you feel something like this, or is something out of your control, obviously, but don't affect your career as a coach?
Well, it's definitely out of my control. But if I would love to come back and coach in Italy, I would love to come back and coach in Europe. I've been to Puerto Rico. I'm getting ready to go to Canada. Um, Coaching is something I love to do. I love working with players. I love the communication aspect, all those things. If somebody was questioning whether to hire me or not, they can call me directly because I'll be very blunt and upfront and open about it. One of the things that I think most of the guys that I coach like about me as a coach is that I'm very transparent, and I try to be as honest as I can while protecting the club and protecting the team. Um, I felt bad about that with the press, um, especially in Pistoia after the game, whatever, when I was doing interviews, and I really had nothing to do with the team, but I had to protect the administration and the club because they didn't deserve what was going on. Um, but could it hurt you? I think it could to a certain extent. But if anyone was to be interested in me coming to coach, all they had to do was call me or call some other people that were involved in the situation, and they would learn that the situation was basically from two people, and it created the toxic environment, and that's what ended up happening. It was a forgettable situation, but something that I'm glad is over, and I'm glad I'm able to move on.
Do you have the chance after all the situation to be face to face to Ron, or never happens in the past and
I
never happen in the future?
to be honest with you, I have no desire to see the person in public or the son in public to speak. I have no desire to do it. What transpired there was a total lack of respect and lack of basically human dignity. Someone that doesn't respect other humans. And so for me, I would prefer just to move on with my life and the next time I see those guys will be too soon.
Absolutely understandable. And talk me about your experience in Puerto Rico. We have Danilo Gallinari lifting the trophy right before the Eurobasket was an important goal for him, winning a title despite his incredible career. What about that championship? Because there's some thoughts about it. There is a lot of ex NBA player, a lot of tough guy. What was if you have to share your experience in Puerto Rico and share the level of that tournament? What could you say?
It's a good level. A lot of ex players in the NBA, European guys that come there. It's a revolving door. A lot of times, teams change guys a lot. The local players, they have some really good locals, and then they have what they call the New Yorkers. The
Mhm.
It's from a movie, but the guys that have citizenship to Puerto Rico or have family citizenship that play as Puerto Ricans. So you have a great mix of players, and the level is high. I went in as an assistant coach, and then when the assistant coach resigned, I was asked to take over at first, which I didn't do, and then I did after the evening, sleeping on it and coming back the next day. But the experience was great. I mean, I loved it. And you talk about passion. There's some great players, great teams. The passion down there is incredible. We brought Grant Basile in, and Grant did a great job. Unfortunately for us, I don't know if you remember Emmanuel Mudiay.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
well, Emmanuel was the MVP of the league, and he gets injured in the second quarter of the second game. We were up in the playoffs 1-0. He and Grant are playing well together, and then right before the playoffs, we have another guy, Philip Wheeler, who's an excellent basketball player, who's just signed in the NBA, who left to go play in the summer league to try to live his dream of playing the NBA. So our top two scorers, about 50, 55 points, were gone.
It's hard. It's hard to manage.
And we had some other options that we were trying to get to bring in as substitutions, but we couldn't really close the deal. For one reason or another, it wasn't working. But the guys that were there, they went out and they played hard. We got beat one game pretty bad, and we were joking later on that in that game, Ponce would have beat the Celtics probably because they couldn't miss. Uh, they didn't miss any shots, and it's just one of those games. But the other five games were nip and tuck games. We lost by 6 points, 3 games in a row in Ponce, which is a really hard place to lose. I mean, to win. I'm sorry. And the last game we were up by 7 with like 3 minutes, and then it was kind of incredible. The whistles on one side got swallowed, on the other side got blown. Had a big impact on the finish of it. But and even Emmanuel tried to play in that game, and he was about 50% of what he was, and still made a big impact. So I like to think that if we had Philip, we had Emmanuel, along with Grant, that we could have made the finals and competed against Danilo. But I got to spend some time with Danilo while we were there. We played
Mhm.
against each other twice. And I know that's something he wanted was that championship, and I know he wanted to play with the national team again. So I was really happy that he was able to get both of them. Because he's a really good guy. He's had a great career. Um, we laughed about how when he and I played together, he was like 17, 18 years old. And I said, yeah, time flies, doesn't it? Because now he's 30 some, 37, 37. I don't even know how old he is. And I've crossed the 50 barrier, and it's like, Jesus, it was like yesterday. And we were laughing about it. But no, it was fun to watch, fun to be involved, fun to watch him win. I wish that we were able to compete against him, but didn't work out that way. But the Puerto Rican league is really good. It's a really high level. You got a lot of good players, and I'm trying actually to convince some European clubs to take some of these guys that play there because they're good players.
Absolutely, watching the names are incredible. I start watching something when Grant go to Puerto Rico, and I find very crazy name. I totally forgotten one, but Moudier was in Zalgiris for a little stint, and was very curious about that championship. For
He's
handling this.
fantastic, but he's a fantastic player and a better person. Emmanuel is one of the best. I mean, he's great in all aspects. And when he and Grant were playing together, it was fun to watch.
Massimo told me this. Let's see what happens when when Grant play with Emmanuel.
Well, the funny part, just to show you the passion of the fans, like when Grant was coming, everyone say, "Oh, well, he plays in A2 Italy." He's this. They use the term, and it's in Spanish, but it translates to sweet potato.
Okay.
They were talking about how he's going to be a sweet potato, because they always say that about the guys that come in that don't do well, and he changed a lot of minds, which I kind of knew he was going to do. I was very confident that he was going to do well, and he really did exceptional here in Puerto Rico. The game is different. It's a much more up tempo game, a lot more emphasis on the offensive side than the defensive side. So it does take a little bit of adjusting to get used to. But he adjusted quickly. I mean, was really dominant.
What do you think about the ceiling of Grant? How far can he go in the European basketball? Obviously.
I think he's a high level player. He's very smart, very he's got a great basketball IQ. And so when you combine his ability to do different things, to shoot the ball, to put on the floor a little bit, to post up against different mismatches, where he can defend. I mean, he has a little trouble right now defending a point guard on a switch, but he does a job it's okay. Can he get better? Yes, but it's you can live with it. So he does a lot of positive things, and I think the more that he plays, the more experience he gets. He's going to be very good and very special player. I think I was kind of surprised that he didn't get called for the national team this year. Um, but maybe it was a look for the better. He needed a break. He had been going for a long time straight. So maybe he can take that little break, work on some of the things that he needs to work on, and come back ready to go and stronger. And hopefully in Cantu this year, he has an outstanding season and opens up even more eyes than he's already opened.
Quick question for ending this interview. Coming back from your basketball career as a professional player, tell me your five best player you have played with in your career. I know it's a hard one. You have to think about it. You have time. If you want to make the names, is some Instagram question, if I can say in this way.
That's really tough because I played with guys at different points in their career, like Sergei Bazarovich, I played with in Trieste. He was at the end of his career, and you could still see glimpses of him when he was a young guy, and it was amazing. It was great to play with him. Jerry McCullough is another guy that I love to play with. Uh, Unbelievable battler, warrior. As we were talking about Milano and the time when I was in Milano with that championship that we lost to Bologna, Jerry was the leader of that team, and just mentally was just unbelievably tough, and it spread to the rest of us. Um, Sean Stonebrook in Cantù, another guy I love playing with, one of the most selfless guys that I've ever played basketball with. Love him. He could take two shots, make 2 points, and have the biggest impact on the game. Special player. And I'm trying to go through so many years. And it's
I
tough
know
because
it's
I
hard
know I'm
one.
leaving guys out, but I know I'm leaving a lot of guys out. Claudio Cotobello is one of my favorite guys. That same year with the championship, that's the year we played with Saleh, who came on board in midseason. Um, hmm,
One last name.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm not going. I know I'm missing so many guys. Uh, oh, when I played in Treviso, Ty Sedney.
Oh, great. Well,
Yeah,
probably one
Ty,
of the greatest of
great, another
who ever
another guy,
played.
great player, even better person. Just a great guy. I love being around him. Love playing with him.
Very, very good name.
So off the top of my head, I probably left out about 25, 30 guys that I would say normally. But yeah, off the top of my head, I mean, good players. I played with a lot of really good guys, really good players, and I was lucky. I was lucky to be involved with that.
Your last call was very, very, very good with Tayo Sedney. And the last one, do you see yourself in 5 years? And what are your project and goals do you have in the future?
I'm trying to right now develop this idea that I have and get into a franchisable um, entity. So we're working on that right now. I'm working with a couple friends of mine, guys that have been friends with mine for a long time that have the same ideas and goals, and we're trying to put it together. But I would like to stay in coaching. I would love to have another opportunity to come back to Italy. Let's remember with Pistoia when I was done after Cremona, we were 2-1. They finished 6-24, was it?
Probably.
So we were on the right path, and I always tell people, I said, hey, look, I think we would still be in A1. I think for sure. Would we have made the playoffs? I mean, now you're stretching. It would have been tough. But I know those guys that were in that locker room. If we didn't have that toxic presence, the too toxic presence in the locker room, on the court, all around, I think those guys would have competed, and we would have had a chance to do it. And one of the biggest disappointments or regrets that I have is that we didn't get that chance. Those guys didn't get the chance. We as a staff didn't get that chance. The fans didn't get that chance to see it, to help and push us through to that. So those are some regrets, but I love my time. I love my time there as far as the fans go, as far as the coaching staff and the players. There are some things that I didn't like, but um, for the most part, it was a great experience.
Are there some aspects of Dante Calabria players you bring to the Dante Calabria's coach personality?
I try to challenge guys. Um, I try to challenge them, especially shooting. I don't move as like I used to. I can't do some of the things that I used to do or used to try to do. But one thing I can do is shoot. So I would challenge guys to shooting to try to, either get them going if they were in a slump, or if they were thinking that they were great. Hey, you got to continue to put the work in, doing things like that. But um, I try to bring past experiences. Fortunately, I went through a lot of different things as a player. So I think that helps as a coach. So when these guys are going through certain things, I can talk to them a little bit, or give them examples to try to help them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Um, but yeah, those things come into play, and they help. And like I said, I just try to lean on past experiences. I lean on learning new parts of the game as a coach, and trying to get guys to buy in to be the best that they can be at that given moment. But like I said,
That's it.
hopefully I get another opportunity. But we'll see.
Yeah, we hope to for sure. You deserve it, at least a chance to show your value. I want to thank you so much for sharing everything about your career as a player, but in particular as a coach. Some critical moments with professionalism, but with the truth inside. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, and I hope everything is more clear about that situation in the future for our audience, for all Italian fans, Pistoia in particular, but all around Italy. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I hope you're right. I hope it does make things clear, and I appreciate your patience. I know it's been a long time, but I'm glad we were able to do it, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you to you for following this new episode of Backdoor 121, the special interview of Backdoor Podcast. From Simone Mazzola, thank you so much, and see you next time.